This aging scrapbook has only been removed from the Lake Placid Olympic Museum archives a few times over the years, mostly for small research projects, then returned to the dark shelves. But recently, the museum examined it up close.
And I stopped and said, wow, this is remarkable. We really need to focus our efforts on this.
Museum staff began poring over the turn-of-the-century black and white photos and newspaper articles inside the packet. Everything Henry Eline collected was between these covers and turned out to be a treasure chest of speed skating history on Lake Placid's Mirror Lake. Henry Eline was a businessman and an heir to the Schlitz beer fortune. In the light of new evidence, it was Henry Eline who provided the underpinnings for everything that was gaining speed here in Lake Placid long before the 1932 Winter Olympics, and it started right here on Mirror Lake.
In the scrapbook, we came across what I believe and what we believe is the first international sanctioned event, the document that really started it all.
That event was an international speed skating competition of 1920, well before Godfrey Dewey brought the Winter Games of 1932 to Lake Placid. But a decade earlier, in 1920, the area established itself as the sports capital largely because Henry Eline supported securing speed skating events and aiding local athletes who brought home the gold. By then, speed skaters from across the country were setting their sights on Lake Placid to compete. The excited races began to draw big crowds. Tickets sold for only about $1. It also attracted Pathé and Fox Movietone newsreel companies. Those pictures were distributed worldwide and flashed across bigger-than-life screens. Lake Placid was now getting serious recognition for its fast-moving winter sports. A fact that no doubt helped Godfrey Dewey secure the 1932 Winter Games. Until the revealing material tucked away in the album was fully known, much of the credit for Lake Placid sports fame was attributed to Godfrey Dewey bringing home the third Winter Games. But it was Henry Eline's efforts and support of speed skating that first brought early fame to the area.
Henry is responsible for bringing the first international winter sport event to Lake Placid.
Those turn-of-the-century events also included women on silver skates, an unwelcome situation facing some male competitors.
This is Rose Johnson, one of the female speed skaters that competed in 1920. To our knowledge, it was the first international event that women were allowed to compete.
Once the village became a famous sports center, lodging for visitors heated up.
Once that bid was announced, which happened first, and I thought was pretty unique when I looked at it, people started winterizing cottages and homes so that it's sort of the establishment of the winter tourism economy at that time beyond the Lake Placid Club property. So it gave people a reason to stay here year-round at that time. We could see Henry Eline's involvement with soliciting that international winter sport event to have a direct effect on the winter tourism that we have today.
Annually, the Adirondacks brings in about $1 billion in tourism revenue. A bulk of that comes from Lake Placid. The rediscovered record of how winter sports tourism in the Adirondacks started has been digitized so that researchers can examine it online. Henry Eline died in 1997 at 101 years old. He left his wealth to the Eline Foundation that has assisted nearly every local association. It continues to do so. For Mountain Lake Journal, I'm Jack LaDuke in Lake Placid.